This is the AI Music Revolution, brought to you by JG BeatsLab. JG BeatsLab is a methodology company for serious musicians working with AI tools. Not tips, not hacks, a complete system for getting consistent professional output from platforms like Suno and Murica. We call it the unlocked system. The framing is simple. You can be a vending machine operator, pressing buttons and accepting whatever the AI gives you back, or you can be a director, understanding the platforms well enough to get exactly what you want from them. Lane 2 work, human-authored, AI-assisted music creation. That's what this show is built on. Here's today's episode. Hello and welcome to the AI Music Revolution. If you do not like the idea of AI music or the AI music future, this is not the podcast for you unless you like to be grumpy. This is a podcast where we actually support and embrace the idea of AI music and the fact that AI music is the future. I'm Josh Gilliland, your host. 30 years in big tech. I've released a lot of music, both human bands as well as AI bands. I think I have over 200 tracks on Spotify now. I'm a musician as well, so I play drums, and then I do a lot of music projects where I just let my creativity flow without even using AI. But then I also create a lot of AI music. I'm a 5-star Submit Hub curator, so I listen to a lot of music. A lot of it good, not all of it. So this podcast here is for creators who want to operate like professionals, not hobbyists in the AI music space. Today, I'm going to talk about why most AI music is garbage. And it's not the AI's fault. So let's start. First of all, AI music tools are incredible. I use Suno for most of the work that I do, but I've experimented with a bunch of other tools as well. And it's crazy how these tools can generate broadcast quality audio. Now, you sometimes have to do a little bit post-recording to make sure that they're at that standard, but just right out of the gate, you could almost take these songs and release them onto Spotify. But why does 90% of what gets released sound like trash? Well, it's not the tool. It's not Suno. It's not Udio or whatever tool it is that you're using. I hear this every week as a Submit Hub curator. Technically clean tracks, a decent beat with lifeless vocals, and I decline that sucker in about 3 seconds. Most people treat AI like a slot machine. They throw in a prompt, they pull the lever, they hope for a hit. They generate one clip, they say, good enough. They send it on the way. Spoiler, it's mostly trash. And that's mindset shift has to happen. There's a difference between a gambler who is just pulling the arm on a slot machine generating AI music and a producer, somebody who's actually producing AI music. And it's one word. The word is direction. A producer doesn't hope for a good output. A producer demands it. You're not using the AI. You are directing the AI. So what does that mean? That means having standards. You gotta know when to kill a track. And you should be killing the majority of your tracks. If you hear a track that comes out as a 7 out of 10, kill it. You're looking for the 9.6 out of 10. 7s don't cut it. Raise your standards. 9.6 out of 10. The amateur falls in love with their first take. And I get it. You put in a prompt. You've worked through a prompt. You've really tweaked it. You think that you have something. You press generate, you hear it, you hear your vision for the first time in audible form, and you're just immediately, wow, it happened. Wow, this sounds really great. You got to get on the other side of that initial emotion and start really listening to it as a producer. Your goal is to find a reason to delete that track, not a reason to fall in love with it. So the first time you hear something in the track that's like, that's not perfect, delete. The amateur falls in love with their first take. The pro has already deleted 12 takes before practiced. And when I say garbage, what I mean is the vocals may be a little robotic. Some of the phrasing may be flat. Maybe some of the words don't come out correctly. Maybe the song's boring, right? It's a very predictable structure throughout the entire song. Maybe you can hear a little bit more of the tinniness that sometimes happens in some of the instruments. But you need to listen for that. Listen for the garbage. Like, you have that finger right on the delete button. And as soon as you hear garbage, delete. Generate the next song. And then hopefully you get to the point where the reason these songs sound like garbage is the thing that you're listening for is not something that came from the prompt, because you have tightened up those prompts to a point where you are just listening for these little artifacts in the song that don't sit. Little artifacts that you can't correct in your mixing and mastering of the track. So what do you do? How do you become, that 10% of people who do this correctly and stay out of the 90% that are producing garbage? First of all, generate in batches. When you're using your tool of choice, generate. Then you have a batch of songs to listen through. Listen through all of those songs. So do this with the expectation that you're going to be digging through a batch of songs. A batch of songs with the same prompt. Find the one take from that where the vocals sit perfect. It's the sound that you're going for. And now, set that as the anchor. That's the song that now you want to generate off of. That's the golden seed. You're looking for that golden seed. That becomes the identity of that project, the identity of that band. This is the thing that you nailed. This is the thing that you save inside of the tool. So you can repeat. And be ruthless. Ruthless creation. If it's not a 9+, it's a 0. Delete. If you're not deleting at least 90% of your tracks, your standards are too low. And really treat your credits like money, because they are. That's why coming with the right ideas, the right prompts, the right lyrical structure, doing all of that work up front. So when you get into the tool, you have all of that in place. And then it's just you looking for those imperfections. That's where the money is made. You should not go into the tool and then keep generating and then re-experimenting with the prompts. I mean, of course, you're going to do some tweaks along the way, but you should be going in with a solid set of prompts right from the start. And then just listening for those imperfections versus like needing wholesale changes. So I hope that helps. As you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about this because, like I said, I listen to a lot, and I mean a lot of music. And I am open to AI music inside of Submit Hub as a curator. I embrace it. So I listen to a lot of AI music. And I listen to a lot of AI slop. 90% slop. Be the 10%. Be the 10% who is really honing in this craft and taking your role as an AI producer seriously. Be the 10%. If you want to know more about my approach to this and how I build all of my prompts and structures going into the creation of a song, get the books and resources that I have at jgbeatslab.com/music-books, or just go to jgbeatslab.com. I mean, find your way through there. I am trying to document this, everything that I can, to help all of you become better at your craft. AI music is the future. Be a producer. And I am here to help you on that journey. I'm Josh Gilliland. This is the AI Music Revolution. I will see you next week. One more thing before you go. Every Thursday morning, I send out a newsletter, 1 email a week. It's where I share what I'm working on in the studio, the research running the lab, and the methodology I'm refining in real time. New books, new blueprints, new findings from the Red Lab protocol research. If that sounds useful, the sign up is right on the homepage at jgbeatslab.com. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next Friday.